Marilyn and Boy George are with us. Oh, this is a turn-up, isn't it, really? Fantastic. Now, that song you just heard was called Love or Money, and it's Marilyn's new single.
Yes.
How's everybody? How are you, George?
Really great.
And Marilyn, how are you?
I'm extremely well, thank you.
Well, should I call you Peter or should I call you Marilyn?
I'm kind of used to Marilyn.
And can I just ask you, would you like speaking to the microphone?
I could do.
That's very good of you. I appreciate that. Now, here's the thing. I know that you've been on tour, George.
Yes.
You're kind of constantly on tour. And, of course, you were in The Voice, and now you're going to be in another show in America. You're going to be in The Apprentice, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Who's going to be?
Arnie.
Okay.
Arnie Schwarzenegger.
Okay, is there any possibility, just in case he doesn't become president...
The Trumpster?
Yeah, he might come back.
He's not on the one I'm doing. And I don't think I would have lasted very long with Donald Trump.
No, I don't.
I think if he'd have sort of spoke to me like he spoke to Cyndi Lauper, it would have gone off.
Yeah. Now, Marilyn, where have you been? I mean, I don't think I've seen you. I don't mean this rudely. What happened?
I was doing market research.
Right. And where would that have been exactly?
It's like really weird because if you're not seen, if you're an entertainer and
Yeah.
you don't do the publicity side of it, people think that you're in a closet somewhere.
I know,
You know?
yeah.
I mean, I was alive, just wasn't doing
This
much.
stuff.
Okay, so in the early days with George, the publicity and the singles, and you became well-known, you became famous. Was that what you wanted? And did you later discover that maybe that's not what you wanted?
I think it's like wanting to be loved, you know, like wanting validation and to be heard as well. Like being a little kid and being repressed and bullied and all of that, I felt like I didn't have like a voice. And
Yeah.
so all came like pouring out when I started doing my Marilyn thing.
How difficult was it to come through all of that? And are you through it now, do you think?
Yeah, I'm absolutely through it. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be sitting here. Yeah, it was very difficult. But it's like where I am now, looking back, it's easier in hindsight.
Sure.
All of those things that happened, things that are only presented in front of us for us to grow from it.
Yeah.
And for quite a long time, when I wasn't growing, I didn't want to do anything like that. I don't know, something woke up and I thought, like, what's going on with my life? And I need to sort this out.
And what was it like getting back together with Marilyn, George? And how has the music come together?
Well, firstly, I would say it's great to have him back in my life. He's happy, he's together, and that is, regardless of the music, that's the best news.
Yeah.
That my friend's back in my life, that's wonderful. And the music is just really something that we do. He was working on a project and he asked me what I thought, and I was like, do you really want to know what I think? And then I took over a bit and sort of worked with him, and, you know, it's fun to be able to work with him as the person he is now. It's a whole different thing to anything that we tried to do 30 years ago. And I've really enjoyed the process of working with him, and we're working on an album. I'm really excited about it. It's really good fun.
So you've written and you've produced stuff, yeah?
We've written together.
With John Themis.
With John Themis, who's my kind of long-time writing partner. And we basically just sit there and thrash things out, and it's entertaining.
Something interesting about you, George, and known you for all of these years, is that you've followed a kind of path that didn't really exist before. You've carved out a career which is so multifaceted. You'll hate this word. You're a bit of a mogul. You're a TV personality. You're a judge on reality shows.
DJ.
You're a DJ. That was something. You were a DJ in the newest sense of the word, one of the first superstar DJs.
Yeah.
But also, you're also Boy George.
Yeah.
Was that anything that you kind of planned, or did it just all fall in?
I think a lot of it has been winging it, basically. And I would go back to the beginning. People used to describe me as very ambitious. I wasn't. It was just about being in the right place at the right time, picking up on what's happening.
Yeah.
And I would say I'm probably more ambitious now than I was 30 years ago, because when you're 17, you don't really know what you're doing. You don't really know where you're heading. If you look at the pop industry now, people kind of know what to expect. Yeah. When we were like starting out, it was like, okay, we're going to make a record and we're going to physically hold that record, and then what? It was really just thinking on your feet. But to be sitting here like all these years later and talking about a long career is kind of bonkers, but it's also brilliant. But a lot of it is being open to change. So you have to adapt, you have to kind of adopt all the new things, and it's exciting.
Are you enjoying it more now because you know the pitfalls and you know where you're going?
I'm enjoying it because I kind of feel like I'm really lucky to still be doing it. This is the best job ever.
It's the best jobs ever, isn't it, really? Because you do
Yeah.
so many bits and bobs,
Yeah.
so many things.
But it's kind of being creative. That's the real fun thing. I mean, we were in the studio doing backing vocals for Maz's new single. We would have some singers. Amazing. And it's just such fun to do that as a job.
Did you, George, ever get used to being globally famous?
You don't really think about it, do you? It's not like I wake up and go, oh, I'm globally famous. I mean, the best thing that's happened to me in the last 2 weeks was that I got mobbed by 7-year-olds, which was brilliant. I was in a little sort of mumsy cafe, And we were having coffee, and then this lady came up and said, "Oh, my 7-year-old daughter wants to meet you."
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, she knows who I am. So it was very sweet. And that's from obviously doing The Voice.
Yeah.
Little kids now know who I am, so that's very sweet.
But you can go to America or Canada or Australia or whatever, and people will say, "Hello, George," on the street.
Yeah.
They don't go crazy.
Some
around
do,
you.
yeah.
I used to go crazy over you, but I've gotten used to you now.
Well, the thing about Marilyn as well is that, because he's been a bit of a Greta Garbo,
Yeah.
like people are really fascinated by Marilyn.
Yeah.
And when I've travelled around the world over the last 30 years, people always ask me about Marilyn and Helen Terry. They're the two
Yeah.
people that people are really fascinated with. And I think that's a good thing for him because it's like he's been in hiding.
Well, that's the first thing I wanted to know. Whatever happened to you?
Where have you been?
Yeah,
What
where
have
have
you
you
been?
been? And it's a fair question, I think.
But I have to say, he looks amazing.
He
you
does
do. You look
amazing,
great.
yeah.
You said something earlier on about 50-something years. You're not in your 50s, though, are you?
53, yeah.
Are you really? Well, that's great.
Shocking, isn't it?
What are you after?
So now, Marilyn, what do you think? How do you see the future? I mean, let's have a look a year ahead. What do you think you'll be doing?
I'm going to be touring, selling my new face cream.
Well, will I see it on the shopping channel?
Because people want to know how I kept it all together.
I
so,
want to
you
know. Your neck's good as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing the way it holds the head up.
Yeah. It just kind of balances on there, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
Somehow.
weird.
But, George, you look great as well. You kind of slimmed down from about, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
What's your secret?
Well, he'll tell you, I'm a food nightmare. I mean, literally, everyone in my family, they call me like, I can't even say what they call me, but I have to be very careful with what I eat. I have to exercise, and I have to really stick to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just would slip. I've got the tendency to eat 400 Snickers bars in one go.
He just did a world tour, and I went out to one of the shows. And the backstage, they have like the food where they've all.
Oh,
all the
yeah,
food.
yeah.
And I sat in the room, and all the different people on the tour are coming in, and they're all like saying, "So what am I eating today, George?" Like, and he's got like little boxes and basket, and it's like controlling what everyone on the tour is
Was it
eating.
hummus and
What's wrong with
They
that?
all look like Twiggy.
No, my sound guy, Jimmy, was moaning about his weight. So I said, okay, if you really want to do it, let me do it for you. So I did. He lost a stone in a month on tour.
You look great, and you seem in a good place, George. You seem very relaxed.
Yeah, I'm really
at the
happy.
moment.
Yeah,
yeah.
very
Yeah.
happy. Yeah.
Okay, Love or Money, the new single by Marilyn, co-written and produced by Boy George here, is out now. Good to see you again, Marilyn. Good to see you looking well. It's Marilyn and Boy George, everybody. Here comes another blast of that single then.
Yay!
All right!